welcome back to episode number 2 of ReefCast, the podcast that talks everything country, culture, and community. My name is Malachi Johnson, and I'm a proud Gurang traditional custodian from Gurang country down in Bundaberg. I'd also like to pay my respects and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the beautiful country we are on today in Cairns. We want to acknowledge the Gamay Rangers, Yidinji people, and the Yiddikanji mob. So I'll pass it over to you, Tay.
Yenagay, my name's Kataya. I'm a Gumbaynggirr and Bundjalung woman from the north coast of New South Wales.
Nugaby Nagang David, Robert, Gamay Rangers Ngil, Gamay Garangu, Gamay Ringai, Darwalanga. Hey, I'm David, this is Robert. We are the Gamay Rangers. We belong to the coastal Sydney and Botany Bay in particular.
Deadly. Rob, you want to say anything, brother?
Yeah, thanks Malachi for letting us be on this podcast, brother.
No, my bro.
I've done a couple, but yeah, I love this kind of stuff. Seeing the mob and having a chat, and yeah, so it's going down.
To Delhi. So I think today we just wanted to have a yarn with you guys because I'm so intrigued by. I know the podcast we took, it's called ReefCast, but and we focus on the Great Barrier Reef, but we also focus on traditional custodians all around sea country. And you guys work on some deadly stuff in sea country. I've got to know them over the last couple of days. Actually, when I first met them, it was just like, I didn't even know who they were. They were talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, which way? And then, how Murray's going, and, Bob's your uncle, and we were all talking silly like Ernie Bingo's our cousin, But, yeah, so I guess we'll open the floor just to a general cruisy discussion about sea country. Like, what is it about sea country that has you inspired or motivated to do the work that you're doing now on sea country? What is your passion and your aspirations for sea country down in Sydney?
So, come from generations, the early 60s, where my great Uncle Joseph took a Timbri, used to run for mullet and everything. Mullet used to run every Easter, every year. And me growing up like that lifestyle and, being a fisherman myself, been a diver, and ever since then, yeah, just love being on the water. Been a saltwater person, saltwater man. Yeah, and just food source for the mob up at Lapa. I go for a dive, go for fish. First go to mum, give her a good feed and everything. And yeah, but yeah, 5-10 walking steps, mate. We're on the beach from home.
Yeah, you don't find that often, just being so close to sea country. What did you, David? What's your story, brother? Tell us a bit about your story.
Well,
your connection to the country.
My connection to country is obviously part of my identity. It obviously means a lot to be able to have a voice in how the community, the oceans manage in our community, and especially being based in Sydney with having the biggest port there, fuel refineries, airports. General boat users, it's fairly disturbed, especially around the habitat of it. As you said, you have reefs up here. We have weeds and all that type of stuff. That's and seagrasses in particular. That's pretty much like it's vanishing, which is a big worry for our community because obviously that brings a lot of habitat towards fish and other things as well in particular, and that's what obviously we really rely on as a community. That seeing that is disappearing has direct impacts to our community. So at Lapa we always refer ourselves to not just saltwater people, but we always refer that if it's a healthy ocean, healthy community. So if it's if it ain't blooming, then our health ain't blooming. So that was one of our main resources of our community's eating around the bay, as well as land. So a lot of our work we do is not just the ocean, but it's also goes a long way with working on land as well.
Yeah, deadly. Yeah, strong connection. Hey, like we say here up in Queensland, that country and people, they're symbiotic, and we're a reflection of our country. And the condition of our reef is, she's unhealthy, and so is our people. We're unhealthy as a people, and mentally and spiritually,
Yeah.
But tell you, what about your connection? Tell me your story. How did this one female girl just rock up with all these. Well, how do you keep like, I mean, this one here, trouble if I've never seen it before.
I agree.
Yeah. True, God. Nah, Gavin. But so tell us a bit about your story and your connection.
So on my Gumbaynggirr side, the gargle of the ocean is actually my totem. So there's always been this really innate curiosity connection to sea country ever since I could remember, and then everybody's going, I'll study marine biology, marine science and stuff, and yeah, I did. So I did that, and there was always a part kind of missing from that cultural side, and unfortunately growing up in Western education system, I didn't learn how to connect those dots until a couple of years later, and kind of started learning about these ocean frameworks like marine protected area design, and a lot of the time that stuff doesn't cater for mob. In fact, it fails mob. So I did my masters, and these lucky guys got to be my guinea pigs, and I did some really amazing.
That's cute. No.
Use that.
Yeah.
Don't use
That's some
that.
sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Ooh, bromance.
Yeah, sure, but I noticed. I noticed that you guys are so tight as a unit, but yet you all bring such a different, diverse knowledge with these, with your academic, with your experiences and your lived experiences. Like just having a yarn with you in general conversations through the last couple of days, and poor brother Rob's not here, but if Rob could be here, I'm sure he would have loved to keep yarning.
Can't stop the lad.
That lad, yeah. Look, we can't run him down.
No.
He's not here to defend himself.
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, sorry, Rob. We love you, Dugon. Nah. But so look, what about so tell me a bit about what's some issues that you guys are facing? Is there anything that that as from a personal perspective, what's the issues that you see personally that's happening on country, and especially within your sea country that it's really concerning you? Open floor.
Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just with as Rob, our senior ranger, explained to us a while ago, how he used to dive, near Upper Beach and around Yarra and around other coastlines where our seagrass has been decimated. Used to be 85-90%, then now it's just under 10%. So just through anchorage, boats just coming in on a hot summer days, just hundreds of boats, and just pull their anchors and just rip and smash in the seagrass.
Yep.
So that's one of my ones, and especially the moorings. Used to be only 3 or 4 in Upper Beach and around Yarra and everything. Now they've put an extra 15 in, and that they loop by chains, and it just massive O-rings.
Yeah.
Most like 3-4 metres from the plotted to where the chain loops and swings. So that's a bit of an issue as well.
Yep.
But yeah, just all species as well, crabs and blue swimmer crabs and floaties and bream, just that's their home. So that's a bit of a disappointing, but working together now, the alliance with UNSW to start repattern growing seagrass back, Pasadena. And so we've just done our training with scuba diving with Bondi, and I've just done our open water, and just going to start doing our advance.
But all yous?
Yeah, all of us.
You did it too?
Yeah.
So
How did you get in the wetsuit?
I know, I just had about...
should have seen the weight belt.
That did.
It was slipping down out his bum and all.
To tell the truth, they'll have to put extra 10, 15 kilos on me to get me down.
Well, look.
So I had about
Nice and
easy 50 kilos. So
While we're on that topic of diving, because diving is a very unique style of it's a unique skill set to have.
Absolutely.
Not many people can go underneath the water and see that whole other world underneath there.
Yep.
Can you explain, what it's like when you're underneath the water and you're just surrounded by that marine life and that ecosystem, and we call it reef chatter. You can hear that. You hear the reef chatter.
We got stories about that.
Yeah, what's tell us. give us a lived experience about being under the water.
I think it was the good thing about it, like it benefited us because as kids and like myself and Robert, obviously being connected really closely with the ocean and always growing up around it was, we always had that skill set of being able to free dive, and then being able to, and that would obviously, sometimes like growing up it'd be pressure to be able to go, oh yeah, go catch this, go catch that, go get some lunch or whatever, always had to do it for my grandmother and all that type of stuff. But so then when it comes to scuba, it was like obviously like it was different because you was breathing underwater was pretty much unheard of towards growing up, because you're like, wow, I'm never going to be able to do that, I'm not going to be able to do this, and obviously having that opportunity through work-wise, it opened a lot more opened a lot more doors for us to be able to and experience breathing underwater and seeing complete difference rather than going up and coming back down and going up, and but it was a very good experience. We done it at a place where we've actually never dived at before, so it was part of the Sydney Harbour. So it was huge, but it's pretty pity that we couldn't get in up here and see proper reef. I think it's obviously different.
Yeah.
Like having, as I said, the weeds down home, and being up here would have been another experience of seeing corals and different colour corals, and I'm sure it'd also come along with different habitat and marine life up here. That's would be one of my biggest experiences, but really unfortunately.
We'll get you back up, mate. You got plenty of life left in you. You're very young, so I think true good. That's that weight belt now. So. No, but I think it's very important to that we look at these cultural indicators. When we're underwater, you talk about how it was 95% earlier. Now it's down to under 10%. And I think it's important a message that people listen to TOs when they're telling these stories about, hey, we're seeing a change in country.
Absolutely.
You need to recognise it as well. But Tay, do you dive?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I haven't dived in a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've actually dived up here and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully you guys get to do it, because it's a mind-blowing experience. It's so different to Sydney.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit the opposite, though. I prefer free diving when I can. There's something really quite lovely of being able to appreciate being underwater, and and also breathing through a reg I find very uncomfortable. I think you just also appreciate it in a different sense, because it is such a very timed thing. Like, there's only so much air you can hold before you've got to come up again, and it's almost like a meditative experience. And
same with the gear.
Yeah,
it shows just how
I hate
good of
wearing
a
all the
set.
gear.
Shows just how good of a set of lungs you got as well. Free diving.
But I think like today in this podcast, we can actually provide that opportunity for you to do some diving here.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, we got a big shower there. We could fill that sucker up and you can go diving underneath there.
Absolutely.
And
You go first. You go first.
I'll jump in the ladder.
Yeah, I'll pretend to be like a whale or something.
Oh, Whippery.
Yeah, no, you don't. I could be that little dugong on his belly. Scratching his belly out.
Seagrass, not existent.
I could be a rock with algae on my back with a bucket.
Malachi being distressed, you can come and try and help him out in some way.
You can tie me up like I'm stranded. So guys, if there's anything, if there's, to wrap, bringing this to an end, if there was a message as a traditional custodian of your sea country, is there a message that you'd like to tell the world, because this podcast is not just for us here in Australia. It's for everyone who's going to be having access to this. And if you look down that lens one at a time and start off just a message to the world,
Sustainability.
Indigenous people are our past, present, and they're our future. And they will lead and save our future. So there really needs to be better pathways, better inclusion of bringing us more to the table. We've been doing this since time immemorial. It's time that, there's a shared space for us mob and white fellas to come together and do that in a way that's respectful of one another.
Dave,
Look after our home.
that's it. That's it. It's that simple.
Let's try it.
Well, hey, let's trot. Well, Josh had a car. We want endorsements. Yeah, that's Delhi. Those messages are strong messages. They're black messages, and they're messages for everyone across the world to listen. And it's very important to listen to my countrymen and I and countrywomen because our people's way is the true way for sustainability of the future. And that brings us to an end of this podcast, you Deadly Mob. So thank you so much for joining us here on ReefCast. I hope you loved this podcast. We had some big laughs, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we'll put up for you. Hey guys, until next time, stay black and deadly, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. This is ReefCast. See you next time.